We're talking with Eddie Murphy, the star of a new film, 48 Hours. Eddie, looking at your career, you're into your third season on a popular television series. You have a new record album coming out that promises to sell well. You've got a stand-up comedy routine you could take to just about any club in the country, and now you have a film that shows you can not only be funny but also act dramatically. All of this at 21. Looking at your own goals, are you ahead of schedule?
I'm right on schedule right now. I'm real happy, content with where my career is going.
One wonders if you can do all of this at 21 and make it look so easy, where you want to go for the rest of your career.
Yeah, it is kind of it does kind of create a problem there, because things are happening quicker for me. I haven't had to do the paying dues thing that you have to do when you get in showbiz. It's like go work a club for 10 years and go do bit movie parts for 5 years, and then finally get your shot after you've been doing it for 20 years. Then you become this bitter performer. I had to stop drinking soda when I do interviews. Anyway, it will be it's kind of interesting to see what's going to happen in the next 5-10 years.
You're looking to retire at 27 and be a has-been at 32 or something.
Yeah, right. That's probably what's going to happen.
You make it look easy. Everything so far, each step along the way. How easy is it under the surface, and how much is it really hard work for you?
Oh, this is your job, and interviewing me is easy for you. And if you took a truck driver though and said interview Eddie Murphy, he'd be like, so what do you want? You know, he couldn't do it. But my job is being a performer, and as far as sleep goes, it's hard. You don't get as much sleep, you don't get as much rest as you're supposed to get. But for the most part, God gave me a talent, and it's easy for me to do. It's not hard to perform. I love performing. It's a game. And I think because I didn't have to pay that much dues, I treat it like a game. And people think that the industry looks and they go, hey, he's dangerous and different. It's just that I treat the whole thing like it's a game because my mind hasn't been messed up by the business yet.
How did you get started? When did you start making people laugh?
When I was in the 3rd grade, Mr. Wunsch had a talent contest for Eskimo pies, and I won. I was hot stuff in the 3rd grade.
Your class clown?
Yeah, from 3rd grade on.
And you got into stand-up comedy, I guess, as a teenager?
As when I was about 15 years old, I started doing talent shows and stuff like that. When I was about 17, I started working out at first I went to the Improv, and I hated it, and I went to the comic strip, and they gave me more freedom on the stage. Like the Improv tried to say, you can't do this, you can't do that, and I went to the comic strip in Manhattan, and they said, do whatever you want to do, just be funny. So my act started to grow on the stage there, and I started working out in clubs on the island. I became a working comic by the time I was like 18 years old, and then at 19 they gave me this show and ruined all that for me, and now I'm all messed up.
Yeah. You've gotten some press that you're not always satisfied on Saturday Night Live. At various times, you read an article where Eddie Murphy is not happy, something like that. How much of that is true?
On the show?
And how much of it is exaggerated?
There are a lot of restrictions on the show. I'm leaving the show in May because it doesn't have much to do with personalities. It's just the simple fact that there are restrictions, and there's not much you can do on television. My idea of what's funny, I can't project it the right way on television. It's like the censors won't let me do a lot of things I think is funny, so I have to do movies.
Mm-hmm. I work in television, and one of the frustrations for me is that television is never all that you want it to be, or seldom. You always seem to have to, because of the time restraints and the budget restraints and the pressure to produce the product, maybe settle for second best or third best an awful lot of the time and compromise. Is that one of the frustrations for you in doing a live show every week?
Yeah, it happens sometimes. You want to be good, and it's like you want to do something real good, and you just can't pump it out because the time doesn't permit, or something's too expensive to do. There are far too many restrictions for television. I like the pace, and I love everybody that I'm working on the show with, but there are too many things that you can't do. It's not total freedom. Like when I went to the improvisation when I first started, there was no freedom for me. And I went to another club, they gave me total freedom, and I was able to grow artistically. And on television, you get to a certain spot there, like let's say if you do a situation comedy, or if you do a soap opera or one of these late night soap operas, you get to a certain spot and you're not growing artistically. You're just there. You reach a certain peak there, and you can't grow because there's only so much the television can let you do. And movies, the sky's the limit. You do whatever you want.
You think TV's making a mistake being so rigid, so formalized?
No, because I don't think children should be subjected to all types. I don't think they should be able to turn on their television and just see all kinds of things going, like sex and stuff like that on television.
You made the transition to film, again, made it look easy. Congratulations on a nice job in 48
Thank
hours.
you.
I think you've got a hit on your hands.
Thanks a lot.
Did it mean a lot of different approaches for you in terms of doing your work, working on film instead of on television?
I don't understand what you mean.
I mean, you're used to doing comic skits live in front of TV cameras.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're asked to do some comedy, but mostly drama, in front of film cameras on a different kind of shooting schedule.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference for actor?
Oh, I understood that. I probably wasn't listening the first time. In my mind, so you ever just be sitting around your mind and say, and someone's talking to you. The transition was an interesting but a boring one. It wasn't hard to go from television to movies, but it's a real boring process to do movies. And that was real tedious because everything moved so slow.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only thing that was hard about it.
Mm-hmm.
The going from a camera is a camera, you know.
Your predecessors on Saturday Night Live, many of them have gone on to movies, made the same jump that you have now. Did you learn anything? Some of them made successful films, some of them made turkeys. Did you learn anything watching their examples? And how careful were you when you talked to people in Hollywood?
I learned to not do garbage movies. I wouldn't do a wild, zany, crazy, wacky, zany movie. I wouldn't do that. Because like most of the guys from the old show are like ultra talented. Then we got John Landis, who's directing this next movie I did, said the thing about Belushi was that you never saw Belushi at his best, and the man was brilliant. And you were seeing him do things that it was like he'd do like this, and he'd say, "Oh, it's brilliant." You never saw Belushi at his best, you know. It's like I want people to see me at my best.
What makes Eddie Murphy funny?
I have no idea. I don't know. You can't put your finger. It's like saying what made Clark Gable charismatic. You can't put your finger on it. What makes somebody funny? It's just, I don't know.
I saw you at the screening last night. How do you feel when you look at yourself on the screen?
It's a rush. It's fun to see your face this big on the screen, and your eyes jump out more on the screen when your eyes are this big, man. So you're like, your eyes stand out, and things look more intense. It was a rush. It was a real good feeling.
You don't get nervous about watching mistakes that you might make or something like that? In your own head, I mean, be a tough audience for yourself.
I'm more critical than the audience is, and I know when I messed up. So I'm not like, oh, here comes something. I've never done anything. I didn't do anything in the movie that I was ashamed of. There were a couple of scenes where I thought my acting wasn't up to par, but the way Walter cut the movie, you can't really tell. But there's nothing in the movie that it's like, oh no, I hate this scene. I look like an idiot in this scene. There's nothing like that.
You're getting a lot of good reviews in your career. Some people are calling you the next Richard Pryor. Some people say you will do even better than that in show business. Perhaps I've heard somebody describe you as the next Charlie Chaplin, for example, which is high praise.
Yeah.
I don't know you personally.
People are going crazy now. He's the next Chaplin. He is, he's Jesus, this kid. They're going nuts.